Well, Bear, it's time for another story time at the Weathersfield Proctor Library. I'm Glenna Coleman, Youth Services Librarian. And I see, Bear, that you are all ready to work in your garden. You have your basket with your seeds, you have your rake, you have your digger, you've even got your gardening hat and your gardening bandana on. You know, this week has Earth Day in it. And we're going to read a book about gardening because we think about, planting things with the earth and Earth Day, but we're also going to read a couple of other books about things that we might see in nature. I'm going to encourage everybody to get outside and look around and see what there is to see. Our first book is called Two Little Gardeners. And this book is written by Margaret Wise Brown and Edith Thacher Hurd, and it is illustrated by Gertrude Elliot. Spring. The snow melted, a snowdrop came up, a robin hopped, and a worm turned in the ground. Oh, there's our snowdrop right there. It's a little hard to see. The groundhog cast his shadow, and the two little gardeners came out of their house to plant their garden. Oh, it looks like they have a tool that you have. They've got that garden rake, don't they? And they have a basket too. Bear, it looks like you're well prepared. They turned the earth with a shovel and a fork, and they chopped up the earth with a hoe, and they smoothed out the lumps with a rake until it was soft and smooth with only little lumps in it. At last it was time to plant round little radish seeds, thin black lettuce seeds, round wrinkled pea seeds, flat pumpkin seeds, squash seeds, and flat lima bean seeds, and tiny parsley seeds and tomato plants and potato eyes. Then the rain came, and the sun shone, and the wind came softly blowing through the night. And the rain and the sun and the soft winds in the night brought little green sprouts sprouting out through the ground. Radishes popped up, and parsley curled, and under the ground the beets turned red, and the carrots grew yellow, and the potato sprouts grew bigger. The worms turned the earth over, the moles dug about, and a little mouse built a nest in the grass roots near a rabbit hole. There's our little mouse building its nest down here. And beautiful vegetable flowers came out. Yellow tomato flowers, big yellow squash flowers, red bean flowers. White pea flowers, and potato flowers, all full of bees, their friends the bees. And the weeds came too. And they grew, and they grew, and they grew. Prickly weeds, tall weeds, feathery weeds. And they grew, and they grew, and they grew. And the two little gardeners said, "This will never do." And they hoed out the weeds. Then the sun shone hotter and hotter. No rain. So they came with their hoes and sprinkled the rows, till the dusty dirt was all dark and damp and wet. And the vegetables grew, and they grew, and they grew. Some grew so high the two little gardeners had to put up little fences for the peas to grow on, and tall poles for the beans to climb up, and sticks for the tomatoes to lean on. And they made little hills to hold up the corn. Then came the little birds and fur animals, the gardeners who only come to eat and who come to eat too soon. There were too many creatures in the garden, so the two little gardeners built a big flippy-floppy scarecrow. And a funny, fierce-footed rabamole to frighten away certain rabbits and groundhogs and squirrels and moles and field mice who had come to eat up the garden. That's a very creative rabbit mole. I like that. Then the garden grew and grew and it grew. The corn tassels bloomed and the pumpkins got full and the beans grew long and the carrots pushed up through the ground and the cabbages looked like great green roses all in a row. Day after day, something was ripe and ready to pick. So the two little gardeners came with their baskets, and they picked and they picked and they picked. Pumpkins and parsnips and peppers and cabbages and beans off the poles and potatoes deep down in the ground and the corn from the tall green corn stalks until everything was picked. And they cooked and cooked and they cooked. And they cooked and they cooked pumpkins and potatoes and parsley, corn and cabbage and beans until everything was cooked. What do you do after cooking? You're right. And they ate. And they ate and they ate and they ate cabbage and carrots and cauliflower, beets and beans and long ears of corn until they were full. But they couldn't eat it all. So they put some things in cans and jars and bottles and stored them away on the shelves. The onions were dried and hung in big bunches. The carrots were stored in big bins. There was a bin for potatoes and a bin for pumpkins and a high dry shelf for squash. Then the little gardeners rested and they sang a little song. Hi, diddle, diddle, we're full as a fiddle of things that come out of the ground. What we plant in the spring, we eat in the fall and put up in jars and eat it all when the snow comes falling down. Well, we're just at the beginning of this story, aren't we? We're just starting to get our gardens ready and plant. So gardening is one thing we can do to remember Earth Day there. And we have some other things we can do. We can go out in nature and we can look closer to see what we can see. This book, Look Closer, is written by Brian and Rebecca Wildsmith. Let's see what we can see when we look closer. I went for a walk. I passed a stone wall and saw something move. What could it be? You have to look very close. Ladybugs. I passed a wood fence and saw something move. What could it be? Snails. I passed wild roses and saw something move. What could it be? My goodness, I have to look very close here. I don't even see anything. Caterpillars. I passed a woodpile and saw something move. What could it be? Right here. Ants. I passed some purple thistles and saw something move. What could it be? A bee. I passed some tall grass and saw something move. What could could it be? A spider. I passed a poppy field and saw something move. What could it be? Butterflies. Now, what could these be? They're all going home, just like me. This book was Look Closer by Brian and Rebecca Wildsmith. You know, when you're not in your garden, Bear, you could go out and you could look around and see what you can see to celebrate Earth Day. And you know, Earth Day was yesterday, but we don't have to worry about that. We could celebrate it every day. Well, our last book is called Quick as a Cricket. This is by Audrey Wood, and it's illustrated by Don Wood. And this book compares this child to all kinds of things, all about nature. Quick as a Cricket by Audrey Wood, illustrated by Don Wood. Let's see if we can get the whole picture. I'm as quick as a cricket. I'm as slow as a snail. I'm as small as an ant. I'm as large as a whale. I am as sad as a basset. I'm as happy as a lark. I am as nice as a bunny. I'm as mean as a shark. I am as cold as a toad. I'm as hot as a fox. I'm as weak as a kitten. I'm as strong as an ox. I'm as loud as a lion. I'm as quiet as a clam. I'm as tough as a rhino. I'm as gentle as a lamb. I'm as brave as a tiger. I'm as shy as a shrimp. I'm as tame as a poodle. I'm as wild as a chimp. I'm as lazy as a lizard. I'm as busy as a bee. Put it all together, and you've got me. That book was Quick as a Cricket by Audrey Wood, illustrated by Don Wood. Those were some wonderful things in nature that we could go out and see. And we didn't only look at fields, there was the ocean too. Well, Bear, I can see that you are ready to go out and work in your garden. So let's say bye to our friends at the library. We miss you and we hope to see you again. This was Glenna Coleman at the Weathersfield Proctor Library Storytime. Bye until next time.